Okay, so first, little scalp trade here. Already de-risked because I don't want to see price back here. So either it's a win for 3.7R or it's a break-even trade. But the reason for this trade is that we have the classic London low as our daily pivot. So as we know, very London lows or highs are very unlikely if they are the daily high or the low. So currently for today, we do have our daily high at hour 2 and we created our daily low at hour 10, which gives us a strong Asia pivot and a weak London pivot. So then there's always a great chance, as we know, that price makes a new low during stronger New York outers and then potentially reverses. So one thing that it can tell you is that if you want to long, it's often not a good idea to use this as your invalidation, because statistically it's very unlikely that this is your daily low. But you can also see it differently, is that if this is a very weak low, then there's a reason to take it out. So then is there a way to position yourself to take that level out, which is what I did here, where there was a little confluence of price moving into a little supply zone, where you can also see that we are trending down. So price basically low, lower high, lower low, and here we had some supply where it could be the lower high for the lower low, and we had a little confluence with the daily VWAP, which was lost. So price tapped into supply, deviated above the VWAP, broke 30-minute supply, 30-minute market structure back to bearish. So this is where I scalped it, target this range low. And this is definitely not one of the cleaner models which have a much higher probability to play out. But sometimes it's nice to take these little trades, and then with scalping you have to de-risk quicker. So when price moved down here, I was like, okay, either it's a nice win or it's just a break-even trade. So let's see if we can hit the target in the next few hours. Beside that, Bitcoin is at a pretty clean level, because we still have our same levels as yesterday, where we had that initial range high, we swapped it right here, and then we had this very aggressive push Tuesday morning, so that's like Asia, potentially creating our strong weekly pivot. So at this point we still have, like just like yesterday, our weekly low is, what is our weekly low? Weekly low is at this low, potentially a strong low because it's put on Monday. But we also have this as our weekly high, which is set on Tuesday, created during Asia, and it's a third tap of potential Model 1 distribution. So either this is our weekly high, or at least very likely is it that this is our weekly high, or that this is our weekly low. Since this low was part of a local Model 2 reaccumulation, it's a pretty solid low. But because this is also part of a potential Model 1 distribution slash bullish PO3, bearish PO3, this is also a good potential high. So what I'm looking at, which I also just shared in the group, is that I'm interested in both longs and shorts. For a short, I would like to position myself right here, which is basically a potential Model 1 that can then flow over into a Model 2 distribution, where this ends up being the lower high after this deviation. Basically a 3-tap setup, how you want to name it. So if we get a move into here, I'm looking for weakness and then potentially look for shorts, targeting the range lows. On the other hand, if we look at structure itself, price has not confirmed the Model 1 distribution yet. Because to confirm your third tap, you want to have a clean market structure break from the low up. So if we look, what is our structure from the low up? The main structure pool is this: high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So this level right here, this is the low that brought us into that high. So that is our market structure level. So if you break that back to bearish, then you basically confirm this as your third tap of the Model 1 distribution, in which a rotation back to your range low is very likely. However, instead of a clean break, we can see that price first swing filled it here. So then the staircasing effect comes into play, where we, instead of this being our market structure level, we have to staircase it to this wick. So now this is the market structure level, but we again don't break it, but we swing fail it. So we have not a confirmed break of structure. So this is not a confirmed Wyckoff tap yet. And we see that buyers are trying to protect the break of structure. So there is some absorption here at the lows, in which this can locally be a potential reaccumulation range, which I'm also closely monitoring, in which it's like this. Let's clean it up a bit, where we have range low, range high, tap 2, sweep, move back, and then I'm looking here to see if we can take out this and then potentially get a Model 1 reaccumulation, which could potentially provide a long into a short later on, if we, for example, do this. So then this could be a long opportunity for a move into supply, and if we get there, like a bearish 3 drive or weakness, or maybe even a Model 1 or Model 2 redistribution, then we can take shorts from there. So these conditions are like the perfect trading conditions, and that's what basically I've been hoping for after the massive expansion, where basically it was pretty hard to just sit and not step into just FOMO trades. But we knew that after strong expansions we always form ranges eventually, and because with those big moves the volatility has increased, it also gives us much more trading opportunities within those ranges. Because instead of our former range, where we basically had only this kind of price action, a little bit higher, a little bit lower, a little bit higher, where not a lot of setups come, right now we have quite a lot of volatility within the ranges. So only here we already had a range low deviation, break back to bullish, here a Model 2 reaccumulation, which could have been traded. Then price now potentially going over into a Model 1 distribution. Very locally right here, potentially a Model 1 reaccumulation, which could flow over in a redistribution. So yeah, like these are the ranges that just make me happy, because there are so many trading opportunities. And hopefully for the time being, we will get that increased volatility. And as long as we do that, the opportunities are endless. So currently hoping that we take out that daily low, so this scalp short played out, and then I'm looking for preferably like a Model 2 reaccumulation could also be possible here, because we already took out the extreme liquidity right here. So this liquidity is taken. But since this low is our unlikely daily low, I do think that there is a good chance that we take out this low again. So then it could still be turning into a Model 2 accumulation if we, for example, take that low and then get a clean bullish break. Then the Model 2 could also be in play. Then with 1, 2, 3, and then that could be the long. However, gut feeling, and if I just look at how price is moving here, I think it will look more healthy if we take this low, get a bit up, maybe some more sideways, and then during New York Open or anything, get that deviation kind of move, break back in the range, and then have a Model 1 to play with. And then we also have like a better time displacement with a pretty solid return to zone like this. And then I'm super interested in playing that Model 1 back up and see if we can from there potentially flow over into a distribution again. But that's all early to say, because obviously a lot can happen. This Model 1 can also never get confirmed that we just break down lower already. but like the dream scenario is to get an accumulation here into distribution and then bring price lower towards the lower part of the range, where we can look for longs again. Because until and otherwise this is a bullish range, but yeah, we clearly see that we are also showing some distributive signs. So I will not be surprised if we starting to cool off a bit from here and then go down, and then from here we like longs start to make a lot of sense again. So that is what I'm looking at for BTC. Pretty clean levels. Let's see where we are at the volume profile. Yeah, okay, so below value area high, and down here we have the point of control. So let's look at that. And USDT also has pretty clean outlook, because we have that range we talked about since the start basically. And yesterday we had that with tab 1, with tab 2. It's basically the inverse of BTC, so it looks very similar obviously. But here we had the third tab moving below our range and then breaking back in the range with internal bullish market structure. So this is our internal bullish market structure, where we mitigated this demand, but our more important structure from the high down, which is your main structure. So this is low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then aggressive move down. So because this move was aggressive and not really has any solid structure to work with, the main breakout structure we have to look at is at this level. Break that back to bullish, and you basically confirm this as your protected Wyckoff low, in which a rotation back to your range high is super likely. But we can see that we first swing filled our high right here, so we SFP'd did not break it. And then you have to see what is your highest time frame that you have a pullback right here, leading up into your third tab. So here we can see it's valid 1 hour structure because we have candles going up, 1, 2, but on the 2 hour it's 1 candle. So the hourly is the highest time frame. We have a structure leading up into your third tab right here. So you need an hourly break of this structure. So here we can see that we yesterday swing filled it. So that's an invalid breakout structure. So then we have to staircase it again, where the wick right here now becomes your level. So if we then look at the hourly, we can see that this was a candle close above the level. Not super convincing, but yeah, basically enough to say that this is the breakout structure in which this low is now a protected low, and therefore it's likely that this model 1 will play out with a rotation back to the range high. So as I said also yesterday, the best case scenario is that we get a model 1, which is now basically confirmed. So we already are very likely to get a rotation back to the range highs. But like the best model we have is the model 1 that flows over into model 2. And for model 1 to flow over into model 2, you need to grab either extreme liquidity, which is your first obviously higher low, which to me in this case is this one right here. So this is the higher low, higher high. So this is the extreme liquidity point, and our extreme demand is the lowest obvious demand you have, which should be around your range low. And then we can see that we have a super nice hourly demand zone right here. So if market is very kind, we can get a super high probability long setup on USDT, which would mean a short setup on BTC, in which we take extreme liquidity or extreme demand, break this internal downtrend back to bullish, like here, bullish bulls, and then we have basically a confirmed model 1 going over into a model 2, and then you can look for refined opportunities, in which if this is a long on Bitcoin, it's obviously a short, but then you could look at a setup like this, which would be a super clean setup. So pretty clean levels to work with on both BTC and USDT. So paying close attention to that. And let's see, more locally, so this was the SFP, this was the break structure. Then, yeah, this is just internal price action where we are now creating some local liquidity. So I will not be surprised if we take that and then hopefully also take extreme liquidity or extreme demand. But because price is already in a confirmed model 1, basically, it doesn't need to get back here. It would only be like super nice for high probability model if price comes back for this demand, because then we have the model 1 into the model 2, which is the favorite model. So overall, super clean levels for both BTC and USDT. So that's nice for some trade setups. Then we can have a look at some alts. I already shared some, so if you have some insights in other coins, let me know, because currently, for example, ETH is not interesting to me, purely because we are in the middle of the range. So as a range trader, you should always try to focus on trades at the extremes, so either extreme premium or extreme discount. And right now price is literally at the mid-range, where probably also the point of control is. So that's overall just very right at the point of control. So that is where you can expect very choppy trading conditions. So for me, I just have alerts at the range high and at the range low, and then see if we can there get like a distribution or a reaccumulation. The easier outcome here, because we are in a bullish range, because we are trending up, is that you get accumulative price behavior. So either a deviation of your range low, or potentially go over into an accumulation or anything. But unproven otherwise, longs have the are the easier play to trade, or you need to get a super clean distribution against you. But yeah, here right in the middle, nothing to do for me. Hype, on the other hand, is interesting. We had potential model 2 yesterday, which was not confirmed. At least we broke down, but then we just grinded higher. So eventually price made a new high, in which we now have potentially a model 1 distribution on our hands. And that's why if a coin is super strong, like Hype for example, and close to or like in price discovery, then it's always risky to play short. And that's why in those cases I'm more careful with model 2 distributions than the model 1, because with the model 2 you can always ask yourself, did price take extreme liquidity, or is there still extreme supply, or can it still go higher? And then even if the model 2 fails, it can also flow over into model 1. So there's a lot more room for error than with a model 1. Because with a model 1, you basically have your high, you have a new sweep, and then a new sweep, in which either this is the high, or if it gets taken out again, then it's a failed distribution, and then it's, as we know, much more likely that you get bullish continuation. So right now we did make a new high. Then I have to quickly see what our structure is. So in this case, I'm looking at what is the last higher low that brought us into this high. I can already see that this right here, we do have some structure. Now the question is, on which time frame is it valid? Quickly looking at, okay, not too bad. Do we have 2 candles going down here? Is that a buy or sell candle? Buy candle. Okay, so not on the 2 hour. On the hourly we do have, because here we have this candle and this one trades lower. So then this is valid hourly structure. But then this is the market structure low, and we can see that we now swing filled it. So that is not a break. and an SFP can be bullish. So also here not confirmed yet. There is some 45-minute supply left behind. Yeah, so this is an SFP, so that's a bullish reaction. That's the opposite of what you want. So now the new market structure comes into play right here. And price is now also creating locally demand, as you can see right here. So this could potentially also offer longs because bulls are stepping in. And we are holding the range value area high. So this could also just end up being a range breakout. But there it will be key to see if now this demand takes over or that this supply works. So you can watch, do you get an aggressive reaction from supply, or do you move into supply, come back, mitigate demand, and then get an internal bullish bulls? And then this could be even worth a scalp long, with the potential that it breaks out and you get a lot of upside. Let's see where the value area high is. Yeah, so it's holding value area high. So shorts are definitely the riskier play. So I might even look for longs if we get something to work with right here. So we SFP'd it, internally breaking structure back to bullish as well. So that could mean that we have a rotation back to the high. Now basically this is your local range demand. So maybe mitigate supply, come back into demand, break structure back to bullish there, and this can be a breakout long. Playing just the trend and just having a manipulation of sellers getting wiped out. So this is also an interesting one to look at today. And if it moves into supply and then not react from demand or break demand down, then it could very well be that this is our high, and then we can look for shorts from there on. So those two, see, okay, BTC bouncing, getting close to my break even. Let's set an alert there so that I know when it stopped. The others, yeah, so we have right here Injective, which yesterday gave this 1, 2, very tiny sweep, but still sweep, and then 3, and then broke internal back to bearish, after which a kind of a model 1, 2, 3, into model 2 distribution formed. Basically what we are looking at for BTC, but then at a bigger scale. And then here from the low up, that's basically your reconfirmation, where you have an internal uptrend. And if that breaks also back to bearish, that basically confirms that this is your new protected high and that the rotation to your range low is likely. So right here we had the break. After the break you can basically short it with stop loss at that high and then target the range low, which is like a 1.36R trade, not too great, but yeah, with a bit of a run you can go to 2R, but yeah, it's not too promising. And overall I would be more interested in the long, because as said yesterday we have this massive range demand. Let's see, why doesn't it want to go to that high? Right here, and price now retesting the demand on top of that range demand. So this could easily be like the ring C of that major range demand and then pushing higher. So locally I'm watching this range to see if we can get like a reaccumulation here. Take it low, break structure back to bullish. And then this could be also super nice continuation long. For like a 2-tap, or you get like a model 2, depends on what you get. But then you can aim the high or even for a breakout for a continuation trade. And then you can get pretty high RR setups. So I really like how it's forming so far. Where we also have perfect mitigation of this refined demand at the daily point of control. So that was taken out, buyer stepped in. So now I'm looking to see if we can get something to work with here. Do we have internal structure? Yeah, so this low, buyers already stepped in there. So the cleanest is if you get another sweep of that and then you get high probability models. But internally I see that price also broke the 50-minute back to bullish already. So we have low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, bullish break. So that by itself creates this as a local range demand. So then what is also possible is that the low is already in and you get a higher low. But that's yeah, like again a different way of trading, not a clean model, which is normally better or like easier to play. But yeah, also watching that. So maybe if we get a retest of there, it could be something to work with. Yesterday I also talked about VLFI, which was my was the internal model 1 into a model, potentially model 2. Okay, I get an alert that might either stop or TP. Ah, look, great. That was very, very close. Oh, damn, I totally forgot we got news, of course. I swear, there is nothing where time goes so fast as when I'm streaming. It's like a time machine. It's insane. I think I can stream 4 hours and then feel like it's an hour. It's crazy. Okay, so that one wicked out. And we see quite a lot of volatility. So then it's always funny to quickly go to the live room to see what's going on. So we have some volume coming in, some long scaling liquidated. But let's see. Let me have a look at the chat because I was too busy. Welcome, by the way, everyone. If I didn't said hi already. Goldmark, XRP, AAVE looking decent for shorts. Okay, yeah, I have to see because after this move, charts can go wild. So that's, I have to see if it's still valid. But once again, the weak London low strategy played out again, which I think, like, I almost never see anyone talk about it. But you know, let's keep it our little secret strategy. I like Pengu and Lit a lot and still eyeing ICP for shorts. Pengu. Ooh, Pengu looks indeed good from your chart. Okay, we'll go over that in a bit. Neither on variational, on hype maybe. Not on fair. Oh, that's unfortunate. It's on hype. I'm not on variational. You should give me the airdrop points, Kicho. No, I'm joking. I'm trying to collect them myself. Okay, so let's see. We do see a wick lower, but so far a bit of absorption. So now that the short played out, we have to always zoom out a bit, because can we now potentially give that accumulation idea, which I'm interested in longs. And I never enter right after news events. I don't have a hard rule, but often I want to wait like minimum 15 minutes or so. Because here you can think, oh, good buyback, but things can move so quickly that before you know it, it retraces that wick. So I just want to see what happens. If buyers can hold this wick, I would not be surprised if this is our new daily low. But then I want to see like break higher, come back a bit for that wick mitigation, and if we then get a break of structure, then I'm playing the model 2. Or if we move down lower from here, then I'm interested in model 1. But so far, behaving pretty nice for potential long into a short later on. But yeah, right here, first to see if buyers can hold. We are below daily VWAP, so no hurry. Sounds like a dating app. Yeah, maybe it's a dating app. We're all getting fooled. But then I'm very curious what the airdrop will be. Like a mystery box of airdrops. I'm blind date for there. Okay, so let's see how this behaves. Let's see also what is the... Yeah, okay, so ETH in the middle of nowhere. Hype, mitigating demand. Basically now stuck between that key demand and key supply. So both key levels. Let's see what happens. INJ rejecting. But yeah, also here, like, this could be a higher low, but this is not a clean setup I would normally trade. So I can watch it, but I will probably not trade it, because then I'm... what I don't want is that I now think, oh, this is a potentially a higher low, and that I, for example, long it there, use this as my stop, and then price takes out that low, and then potentially starts accumulating. Because then I already have a loss, and then another loss maybe. I just want to... Like, if it already, this is the low, then I just miss out on a clean opportunity, but then you can always enter. If you break the range, you can look for a big bullish rimsy and then enter from there. For hype, I just simply for INJ, I just simply want a reaccumulation. So take this low, and then I want to long. Otherwise, I wait for something else to develop. Yeah, I was at VLFI. We're at a long yesterday, right here. Oh. Right there. So this was the long. And then just before hitting the range high, it sold off, stopping me out. But after this move, we were so close, and I was not watching the charts anymore. So I had my stop at break even, which got wiped out. So little loss if you include the fees and stuff. But eventually, price has completed the target. So this is where, like, I'm glad I moved my stop to break even. Otherwise, I would still have been stopped out with my initial invalidation. But if you are super clean, or like just follow the system with the clear invalidation points, then your best invalidation is always your protected Wyckoff low, which in this case, this was the protected Wyckoff low, because that's your third tap, break structure. So this is a protected low. And here you can see that price moves up, very aggressive move down, but which low is being protected? This low was not taken out. So that's the protected low. And after that, price moves up, basically turning this from a model 1 into a model 2, and now completed the target. So the model played out, but it definitely made it not easy, because yeah, you should have had your stop slightly below this low, and then you were safe. But yeah, this is like pretty violent moves up and down, so I don't really like to trade that. It's also Trimp coin. Yeah, it's just the cabal, so I'm not too interested in it. Let's look at some of the coins mentioned by you guys. Juba is in a gold long. What's gold doing on that news move? I haven't looked at gold because cryptos like too many shit happening. But I had this range mapped out. Bullish range. Could be a model 2, technically model 1. Let's see what we have. So here we have tab 1, this is tab 2. We don't have a really clean, yeah, you could say that this is your extreme liquidity, which then just got mitigated. One, two, could this be the 3? Could be, but for that you need to break structure back to bullish, which now is this high. So maybe if buyers step in right here, then I would not be surprised that this is the 1, 2, 3 model 2 reaccumulation in a bullish range, and then move higher from there. So I'm keeping an eye on that, just as well as a potential model 1 if we take that low again. Right here. Also here, I like the Model 1 more, because if a Model 2 is not super clean, then yeah, I like to wait for the Model 1, because then your room for error is just super small. It's either the Model 1 plays out, or it's an easy invalidation, and then you can even flip around to the other side, because a field accumulation is bearish. For Model 2 you always have that, is this the low, and then it takes that low again, and then afterwards it breaks, and then you think, oh, is that then maybe the low, and then it takes it again. And then eventually that's the third tap of the Model 1. And then you know, oh, eventually that was just the one I had to look at. Okay. Let's have a look. What were the coins recommended? XRP and AAVE for shorts. Oh, AAVE. I have to look at AAVE. AAVE. Yeah, this is always where I go into. I have clean models I'm looking at, but then I just lose track of them because I get too many alerts and I just lose track. But we are potentially reaccumulating inside the demand, what I wanted to see. So I would even be more interested in longs here. Because here we have 1, 2. This is a super slight tap. I don't really count it in this case. But could this turn into... Could turn into Model 1, although you have always to make clean differentiation between, is this a range with sideways price action, or is this just slowly grinding down, in which it also can just roll over. So far it looks a bit more to me like it's slowly like a bouncing ball, like slowly like getting those bounces, and if these bounces get less and less, then either it can be an accumulation, but also a lot of times a bouncing ball then just rolls over. So I'm gonna put, okay, I already have an alert in this demand, but keeping an eye on it. I think it can, if it wants to bounce, then from a high time frame perspective, this is the zone where it makes a lot of sense to form the higher low. So we technically have high, higher low, higher high. This is our range demand with more refined demand here. So if we're gonna continue the bullish market structure pool, then this is the area where it makes sense to start doing that. And I believe also because we yesterday drew our volume profile, where price is now at the point of control. Yeah. Okay, let's see if we mitigated that 4-hour demand right now. Do we have refined demand below it? So this is basically mitigated. I see a 2-hour block below it, in which a model 1 makes sense to get 1, 2, 3, tap into that model 2 2-hour demand zone, break structure back to bullish, and then we can have potential model 1 reaccumulation here, aligning with a bullish RIMC and bullish market structure. So that's pretty nice confluence to have. So this one also stays on my watch list, and I did it. Yeah, it's already up there. Okay, so clean. The other one, XRP. Yeah, too low for me to short. Don't really like that. I'm gonna look at the other one. Bengu. This is Bengu. Yeah, okay, so this also made a big rally. Now forming a range. First with the naked chart. Quickly looking what we have. Because here we have strong 18-hour demand. This is a clear wick of your swing high. We'll now exclude this wick together with it. Yeah, so sometimes you can see where are the, like this is sell to buy. But technically, if you look at all the sell candles and that get overtaken by this big candle, you can also include that. So then this basically becomes your whole demand zone. Because here you basically have range, and then bullish break. So then all the sell candles are turning into demand as well. And then it aligns with potentially a new tap into that, which still stays into your deviation threshold. And it's then basically top, and then this is your more refined demand. 2-hour, put on the tabs. And here we indeed had a local model 2 reaccumulation, as you can see. You have range low, basically range high, tap 2, and then here you take extreme liquidity and break structure. It was a hard one to trade, so not a tradable model as it looks right here, maybe on the lower time frame. But yeah, not every accumulation is a tradable model, but it shows that there was intent to buy it here and push it into new highs, which happened right there, and then price sold off, leaving behind hourly supply at the range high. But now we are potentially creating tap 2 of the accumulation. Then preferably here I want to see a model 1 to see if we can mitigate that demand lower, which would be nice. And it's a bit too, yeah, for model 2 it looks a bit too, I don't like it too much. I would like to see it deeper, and then maybe like either model 1 or like a bullish period 3. That would also be clean. We move into here, maybe here get like an internal accumulation and then break back in the range. And then we have that like bullish period 3 kind of idea, which would be clean. So setting alert around here, but help me remind, because good chance that by the time it gets mitigated I've lost track of it. Master charter session. Thank you. Staircase theory. Okay, so that one lit. Yeah, I can trade it, so I'm not gonna chart it. An ICP, we already looked at ICP yesterday. We did not get an alert, so yeah, so that supply, that same level is still resting there. It could still turn into the same trade idea. Weakness right there. It can be a trade, but yeah, overall this is super choppy. So I have to see. I also don't like the price action overall too much, with this weird grind up, full slow, and then also choppy price action here. So oftentimes on the how price moves, you can already see like, are the models more likely or less likely to play out. In this case, yeah, it's a bit sketchy price action. Okay, so got my short on high time frame. Yeah, that's different. Yeah, anything else? Like, for me, I think most interested in that AAVE potential long. INJ, very similar idea as to AAVE, like almost identical basically. Both testing that range demand. Yeah, these are basically identical setups, AAVE and INJ. Retesting range demand, looking for reaccumulation. Hype will be a difficult one, but to monitor what it's going to do, because this is key demand. If this breaks, very likely that the potential distribution is in model 1. But as long as this demand holds and we just swing filled our low, this can also continue higher and then just go for the overall uptrend. So very key, what does supply and what does demand do? If one of them gives in, very likely we get either the breakout into new all-time highs, or we see the model 1 distribution play out. Right, at this point, I would say it's 50-50. So yeah, either you take a short and a long, or you just wait till it becomes clear, which most of the times is best to just wait. Eventually it will become clear. And beside that, yeah, I'm most interested in just trading Bitcoin. For scalps, I think Bitcoin looks the cleanest, from that potential long into potential short, and then see what happens right there. What I like for the local accumulation idea is that we add the current tabs. So the internal tab 1 is this one, the current tab 2 is this one. And we had pretty heavy selling and long liquidations into those levels. So here you see that negative delta, and we see also longs getting liquidated, which means that there's pretty strong selling into those lows, but price is not going lower, aka absorption, which is what you want to see for an accumulation, because an accumulation is basically always absorption of sell pressure. So there are signs that this there are buyers willing to buy right here and right there. So maybe if they pull another aggressive move lower and you see again that absorption for the Model 1, then to me that's a clean sign to take a long and see if we can basically see how far it can go into that supply and then potentially go over into a short. But that's what I'm mainly looking at. I will check some other coins with potential models after the stream, and I'll share them if they are interesting, but for now I have not looked at them yet. And eventually BTCs, I like to trade the king the most, so maybe I just stick to this. Let's see, net gas. What is the ticker of that? I've never looked at it, but I can have a look. Choose net gas. Nothing on sheet. No, to me sheet is in the middle of the sheet range. Like, yeah, basically waiting for the range high or the range low, preferably the range low, and look if we can get a deviation or anything there for longs. But right here in the middle, yeah, too much in the middle. When 100k? Yeah, that's the big question. I don't think anytime soon for now, but who knows, who knows. Okay, net gas. Let me know if this is the right chart. I've never looked at net gas, but eventually charts are all the same, so we can yeah, this is obviously very high time frame, and this is a horrible chart to look at. Yeah, I don't like this chart, but technically you can see it as a potential Model 1 distribution here, which could go over into a Model 1 into a Model 2. But yeah, I don't like these charts with this weird gaps. That's why most often I just stay away from stocks. My OCD also can't handle it. I can't handle those gaps. Yeah, so no, I have no idea, basically. No idea. Crypto is my edge, and not this one. Clear. Okay, so last one before I will close off the stream. Then we can just talk in the Discord or start trading. Is CVX from Mike. I've not looked at that one in very CVX. Let's look at the high time frame. So on the daily we have low, lower high, lower low break. So a daily bullish break. Important liquidity right there. Another important liquidity high right there. And this is now basically range demand, which seem to be also on the lower time frame and accumulation. Let's see. If this was the low, then instead the high, then it looks like either a Model one where this is the deviation and price took here extreme liquidity for a model 1 liquidity taking. But how I also like to see this is this 1, 2, 3 local model 1 bullish break that went over into model 2. So clear accumulated behavior right here, where price broke out, came back, and then pushed further. So this definitely looks strong. Massive wick there, basically mitigating this whole range demand. So also here, this is like some ranging a new internal. This is also part of internal structure where we talked about yesterday. So basically here, high, higher low, higher high. The moment you break that high again, you confirm this as your swing low. So then this also technically turns all into demand, which got mitigated right here with that crazy wick into that refined demand. So demand is clearly in control. That looks pretty clean. Where we even create here multiple levels of demand again. Can you see it as a distribution? Yeah, but I don't like it. I think this looks too strong. And here it even, if you look at structure, you have high, higher low, higher high. So this was a swing failure, SFP, of our March low, which is very similar as what we saw on high right here. SFP, potentially further up. And now price is trying to give an internal pulse again, not confirmed yet. But yeah, overall I would say, I don't see clean model on it, but overall I would say trend is up. Demand is clearly in control. So higher low for higher high would be the best possible trade I see. But at this point I don't, maybe if it wants to go back for this, one of these demand zones, then it can be potentially something. It depends on how it moves. Where this is also pretty nice POI. Internal demand. I'm gonna put my other there. Yeah. If it's proven otherwise, I would look for like that kind of a bullish whimsy. So with distribution interface, we also check mid time frame. Last week, distribution into accumulation. I don't see it this quick, but share it otherwise the chart in the Discord. We can look at it. Thanks for joining, Barbiteo. We'll see each other soon again. Thanks. Okay, I'm gonna close off the stream. We've been going for an hour already. I think plans are clear. I do like how we are holding here, so I'm gonna be, preferably we still get that model 1, but if we already break, I cannot really do until we flip it VWAP and break structure, but then maybe like a model 1 into model 2, I'm also interested in that. The best case is that we still get a New York sell-off into a third tap, then break structure, and then I'm super interested in longs. And this is where I'm interested in shorts again. That's the main thing I'm looking at. And then of course some of the other coins, but they seem to have they need more time. So for today, my main attention is on BTC to see if something develops. So thanks everyone for tuning in again. I'll speak to you guys in the Discord and hopefully see you tomorrow during the stream again. And thanks for always being present here. It's good to see. If I was streaming for my own, it would be a different case. But now, yeah, it's one of the cool things to do. So thanks for that. Cheers.